Hello and welcome back to Just Fun Stuff. It is time to do a little bit more work here on Funland. We are going to be creating an enchanted forest today, and I can't wait to get started. But before we do, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another upload. With that being said, let's get to work on this forest. All right, right away, getting to work on the backdrop of what will be this enchanted forest, and I wanted to create a cave type structure, and that's exactly what I did. Now, we're not going to be doing too much cliffside. Again, this is an enchanted forest, but I did want to add some height, especially around the cave, add some more trees to the top, so that's exactly what we're doing right now. We're just building up the area so that we can put some trees up, down, and around. Again, this is an enchanted forest, so the more area we have to put forest type items, the better. Again, more trees everywhere. It's all about the trees. And again, just another super small structure so that we can add more height and dimension. I've spent literally the last week and a half growing and moving and planting and cultivating trees for this project, so I'm really excited to get it going. Basically, I want to create a spooky enchanted forest where you come in, it's a little dark, it's a little scary, but during the day it's kind of a nice park type setting to walk through, but at night a little bit more iffy and seasonal. So that's what we're working on right now. Mush lamps, lots of mush items, lots of the spooky items, because again, it's a spooky enchanted forest. So there we go, just rounding out the cliffs. You want it to look somewhat natural as it can look. Now comes what I would say is the hardest and longest part of this build, which is putting in the path. And I feel like a forest floor needs a path. There was no way to get around doing that. Had to stop though. Balloons, I needed to get my spooky DIYs. So quick break for balloon, back to pathing it out. Definitely going to be putting in a lot more trees and a lot more decoration, but the path is such a major part of a spooky forest. So my thoughts were put down our groundwork, then get the path done and set out. And once the path is set out, then it's really simple to put the trees in and the decorations around it the way that you want it. Trying to put the path in, at least for me, because I'm not the greatest path person, putting the path in after I've put all the trees and decorations up would be a huge task, a massive headache, and just something that I'm not looking forward to attempting to do. So I thought for me, this works best. Path it out first, and then put your trees and decorations in after. So like I said, this is the longest part of this entire build because there's not a lot of structural build that's going into this. It's mostly decorative, path, and trees. So again, it's an easy build, but it's high impact, and it was so much fun to do, and it's so much fun when it's done. You'll definitely see the daytime when we're done here. If you're interested in seeing the nighttime, I will update the dream address so that it's up and current and you can see this. It has been updated recently, but I will update it for this particular build because it is a lot of fun to come and walk through. Also, if you want to see it at night and you don't have time to come over on a dream address, go and check out our Instagram because the nighttime picture will be posted on our Instagram as well. Oh, if you see that little center part there with the little design in the path, that was my first attempt at doing that, and I finally got it to work. I was super proud of that. I thought it gave the path a really natural forest floor feel. It didn't look so man-made and put up. Super proud of that. Now, like I said, once the path is up, creating the forest is not that difficult. It's all about taking the trees that we have previously grown and planted in other places, moving them around where we want them, and then creating the decorations. Right now I'm just grabbing more fruit to grab more trees. It's all about the trees, and I didn't want to just do the cedar trees for this particular build. With some of my other spookier builds, I've done strictly the cedar trees because I don't know, they just have a darker, creepier feel. But in this case, I wanted to use some of the hardwood trees. This is a forest after all, so it's a good mix of both kinds of trees. Now for the fencing, because fencing pulls everything together. Throwing it up and not being used particularly as just a fence to block things in. I love how decorative the fencing can be. Next up, again, this is a spooky enchanted forest. It can't be an enchanted forest without the ghosts and scary items. So putting in a few of the ghosts, now we're getting a bunch more of our decorative items. Adding in the spooky tree. I kept everything in the monochromatic coloring for this because it's a spooky enchanted forest, and while I do like the oranges and the greens and they serve their purpose in other places, I think the look that I was going for here, definitely the monochromatic worked best. I love the whites and the grays and the blacks, and I think it goes well with the ghosts as well. Definitely lends to that enchanted spooky forest feel, and I think it goes great with the mush items. There we go. Just getting as much of our DIYing and our customizing out of the way. Adding in our mush table, I think that looks great. And lights. I want everything lit up as much as possible at nighttime. That's like one of my favorite things. I've said it a million times. You'll hear me say it a million more times. I love this game. Not even just fun. I love Animal Crossing at night when you go and you visit other people's islands and it's just lit up. One of my absolute favorite things. So obviously I wanted that to be a major part of this build as well. I want you to walk through here at night and have it lit up in an amazingly spooky way. So as many lights as I can get, the better. Putting in a few more ghosts because again, it's a spooky enchanted forest. More fencing because the fencing, it's so decorative, but it pulls everything together. Back up to Poppy's house because I can't think of a build I've done lately where I haven't been down in the area and thought, ooh, I can add that, I can add that. I still have this, I still have that. Let's add that. So that's what I'm doing. That's why we have storage. Storage is phenomenal. You get doing something and then you're like, ooh, I have this. Back down to our build. More fencing. Again, pulling all of these areas, the fall and Halloween areas together. I love it. The whole front half of Funland is nothing but spooky right now, and I love it. Or spooky fall, I should say, because there are some strictly just fall areas, but I just love it. If you just walk along the front half of Funland, it is so fall ready. It's amazing. I'm so happy with it. Although that does mean that once Christmas time comes and the snow comes, we'll have a lot of work to do changing it up for that season. But I think for this season, we are nailing it. It looks absolutely amazing. All right, adding in just floor lights randomly. There's no rhyme or reason really for anything that I'm doing now with the decorations other than filling up space, adding to that creepy vibe, and lights. I want tons and tons and tons of lights. I added in a few of the tiki torches, of course, because I want that fire effect as well. There's something spooky about fire. Adding more fencing. Looks amazing. Wrapping it up, walking through the enchanted forest. I think it turned out absolutely amazing. I'm really, really, really happy with it. It can continue on to other parts of the island, which I love. Just continue the path. but I think this part of the Enchanted Forest turned out amazing. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, creating, and building this with me, for liking and subscribing, and we will definitely be back with another video.